Hey folks, Adam and Amy here, and we've got a big discussion about Desire Pearl. We're going to talk about Desire Riviera Maya, and Amy's done all the research, so she's going to lead this discussion and tell you a little bit about it. Let's go ahead and kick it off right about now. I'm going to ask Amy if you can give us first an outline of what we're going to talk about.
Okay, so first of all, you said we're going to talk about Pearl and we're going to talk about RM, and yes, that's true. We're going to contrast the two because I think every time they are talked about on the internet, you get a contrast and you get this really oversimplification of Desire Pearl is for old people and Desire RM is for young people. And honestly, I think that is rubbish, and I'm going to tell you why, and I'm going to go into just telling you all about kind of both resorts, but mainly this video is going to be about Desire Pearl. We want to give them a little bit of love. They are one of our favorite resorts of all time, and honestly, with the new Eden build and everything, we've really focused on RM in the past year or so, but I think Pearl is a pearl. It's a gem. It's incredible. So we want to talk about them as well, and we're gonna kind of maybe give you some insight that you're not gonna hear just in those social media comments. Like if you just go on a board and you say which one should I go to? All of the answers are going to be reduced. Let me tell you right now, they're going to tell you Pearl is old and RM is young. And you know what? That's not a really good, that's not a good answer.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a better answer, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about both of these resorts so you can have an informed decision.
All right, so in theory, the title of this video is going to be Desire Pearl versus Desire RM.
Yes.
Which one is better for you? Is that close?
Yeah, kind of but I don't know. I don't know which one is better for you.
It helps people decide.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm gonna help you.
So what do we have first? Are we gonna talk about the history? What are we gonna talk about first?
Yeah, first exactly. I want to talk about the history. I want to say that just being old versus young completely misses the point.
Okay.
We've got to go into more details. We've got to go into more than that. And if that's all you're going off of, that's a bad decision. That's a bad decision. If you're just making your vacation decision off of some bro on the internet told you that I saw old people at Desire Pearl. Right. That's a bad, you're gonna have a bad result.
So without doing the impression, I'm going to recap that we've seen a lot of times when people say, hey, which resort should I go to? People oftentimes say, well, older people go to Desire Pearl, which is an all-inclusive couples resort in the Cancun area. And then other people say, I prefer Desire Riviera Maya, or younger people, probably 30s and 40s, prefer Riviera Maya. Now, for anyone who doesn't have the background, these are both couples resorts that are in the Cancun area.
Yeah, a little south of Cancun.
That are very popular. And they are no clothing, kind of no rules, a little bit, resorts that we've been to, both of them. And a lot of people, they love them. They have a cult-like following, but people kind of stick to one or the other.
So I would say let's go back to the history, because I think this is interesting just to learn a little bit. Desire RM was built first.
Okay.
And I think you can tell that. Everything there is a little bit older. The layout of the resort is a little bit older. Now, in the last year or so, we've got Eden, we've got the expansion, we've got all of the new stuff, which is absolutely incredible. But we have to think back to the history that made this.
So Riviera Maya, the Desire Riviera Resort, came first, Riviera Maya, and they've recently done a renovation to add a bunch to it, and it's spectacular right now.
Absolutely. But when Riviera Maya was first built, they realized oh, we have something here, and we can build something on top of this. We can build a smaller, boutique, luxurious, gorgeous resort that's a lot smaller. I mean, maybe a third of the size. And even now, even smaller comparatively.
Compared to Riviera Maya.
We can build the Pearl, which makes sense. You call it the Pearl, you know? This is going to be our resort that has the best food, that has the best service, that has the best rooms, that has the most gorgeous views. That's going to be the top of the line. It's
So
be
Pearl
more
was supposed
expensive
to
and
be
better.
Pearl was supposed to be this the way I
Yes.
had envisioned it, the way I've always heard it.
Yeah.
And when I remember kind of when it was new, is people were talking about the fact that Desire Pearl was these lavish little mansions. So it was
Yes.
almost an elevated brand that was for people with money.
Yes.
Okay.
The mansion, if you've ever heard of that is at Desire Pearl. The one that's, you know, like
Famous.
$40,000 a night or whatever. Crazy. And all of the suites, I think, at Desire are beautiful and really, really luxurious. The food is elevated. The service is elevated. Not to say that Desire RM isn't. It's still a great resort. But just so you understand the history, RM was built first. And then they thought, okay, we have something here.
Yes.
We should do an elevated version of this that is for fewer people. It's more exclusive.
Sure.
And we'll do that for Pearl. So I think naturally, when you understand that history, you understand that Pearl gravitated towards older people because they have more money.
Yeah.
Because they have more money. Like, that's why it happened, is
Yeah.
that older
The people
people
who
have more
have-
money. That's just, you know, that's just a fact.
I would estimate you can get a room there for $600-700 a night, but those elevated rooms, those mansion rooms, can run you in the 5 figures per night. You can definitely spend 5 figures a week. Both resorts, Desire Pearl, Desire RM, from here on I'll say Pearl or RM, Riviera Maya, have the ability to give you that elevated experience with a butler and private rooms and a mansion type experience. But Pearl was originally designed to be the upgraded class, is the way I have heard it.
Absolutely. So I think that's why, I guess, like, I give the history just to say specifically that's why I think that Pearl got this reputation for being older people.
A little more expensive.
Because it's more expensive. And honestly, here's the thing. Like, just so no one feels like bad about themselves or whatever, anybody that's going to RM or Pearl, you've made it in life. You're cool. Like, you're doing
In the
great
cool kid club.
You're doing great things.
Your
but,
minimum spending $700 to $1,000 a night.
But
Yeah.
the thing is, there's just a difference in if you're in your 30s and 40s and you're still paying off a mortgage and student loans and you have kids and you're building your retirement fund versus your 60s and 70s, like, and you just like have F it money, like, you do what
That
you
kind of
want.
money, huh? Okay.
Yeah, so I think that's kind of the difference where those resorts got some of that reputation.
Yes, ma'am.
Where you've got RM that's kind of the 30s and 40s, and you've got Pearl that is a little bit
I can see that.
more elevated. However, Eden threw a twist in all of that.
Okay, so Eden is the
Yes.
RM, Riviera Maya, built this new addition called Eden, and it is pretty lavish. We've stayed there. It's pretty lavish.
It's gorgeous, and they have new food concepts. They've obviously been putting more money into their food program and their just service program. It's beautiful.
You get very customized service in the new
Yes.
Eden.
But-
It's wonderful. If you get a chance, definitely go there. And don't forget, we do have information in the links below to where you can get some discounts, you can get the best prices, and you can join as a member to get the PG-13 version of this conversation.
But for now, let's just talk about the Pearl pros. And I
Okay.
think number one, the most iconic, the thing that everyone talks about when they talk about Pearl is that hot tub.
Okay, it's got a huge hot tub.
Gigantic. It's like
Enormous.
it's like a swimming pool, but it's a hot tub and it's great, and it's all on ground floor. So unlike the original RM and even the new RM, you don't have to go up a
Pearl almost considered a lazy river hot tub. Like, it's big, it's long,
Ah, it's so big.
long and thick.
And it's super fun. And I think the grounds are even more kind of just luxurious,
Yes.
very lush, very nice, very, very cool. And I think where previously RM kind of had a
smaller hot tub.
smaller hot tub,
Why is that
Pearl
important, Amy?
had this amazing, whoa.
Okay, so for all intents and purposes, at night, there's a bar at the hot tub, and that's where it gets a little frisky, okay? People get topless, people are having a little more fun, you'll see people making out, etc., etc. So the hot tub experience, the group hot tub, wasn't all that at RM. It was smaller.
Yeah.
And at Pearl had this big hot tub and people jumping in, and it was the equivalent of the grotto at the Playboy Mansion, right? It was the
Yes.
grotto where you
Yes.
just have beautiful women and people everywhere and things going on and drinks and all sorts of stuff going on. It was the grotto at the Playboy
Yes.
Mansion. So when you've got a small grotto, just a normal size hot tub, it at RM it wasn't as big of a deal.
Yes. Versus
now-
Pearl, elevated, absolutely incredible.
But now they both have enormous hot tubs.
I still think and like I love the new hot tub at RM. It's great. It has a little bit of a bumpy bottom.
Yeah, it does. It does. It's a little uncomfortable.
You need to put like a towel down or something like that. It's not as great. I will still say, even after all the improvements at RM, Pearl's hot tub still edges out. Like it does. Like
Pearl has a
that's
better hot
just-
tub,
it
better
does.
grotto.
It's a better hot tub.
So that's the best way to think of it is the grotto.
So I'll also say historically, and I don't know, because things change like monthly and you know, seasonally and everything, but I think historically Pearl has had a better food program.
Is that right?
Because it's more expensive and it's been known for having better, more elevated food than RM. Now RM has a few extra restaurants and they have some,
They both
you know,
have wonderful food.
they both have wonderful food, and I don't know how I could necessarily even like judge between the two, but I will say historically Pearl has had better food. So take that as you will. Rooms. Now, Eden
Eden has the newest,
at
best
RM
rooms.
has the newest, best rooms. However, comma, I've seen like the thing is like about RM, you kind of have some antiquated rooms that I think were built in like 1999, and then some that were built last year.
Okay.
Whatever was built at Pearl is super timeless.
Okay.
It's very like this like Spanish gorgeous style. It seems really elevated. It seems
Sure.
really expensive. Even the rooms that I think are very beautiful right now at RM, which I'm not talking trash about them. I'm just saying that 5 to 10 years from now, I'll probably look at and be like,
They'll do a renovation by then.
like that's a little cheesy. The rooms at Pearl
Really?
are so timeless. They are very classic. They are very pretty. Do you not think so?
I think they're
Do you
all. I think
agree?
they're all gorgeous.
That's true, but I really believe that the rooms at Pearl are just really, really gorgeous.
The
to me.
views on both are great. Pearl probably has more oceanfront views as a percentage.
Yes. So speaking of the location of Pearl,
Yes.
I want to give them a little shout out because I think their location is incredible because you're actually able to walk to Puerto Morales.
You are, yeah.
And that is so much fun to me. Like, you know,
You can walk
RM
down the beach.
Yeah, RM is kind of in the middle of nowhere. You can't really do anything with that. But at Pearl, you're able to walk. It's about 1.5 miles to downtown Puerto Morales, which has some really incredible food and shopping and
that where
fun
we got
things
the
to
tacos?
do. Oh my God, yes. Muelle Once, incredible, really, really good. They also
If you
have
do want to go on a walk and actually
Yeah.
see some small Mexican town on the beach, Pearl has the
on
advantage.
top of that, they have like Italian food. They've got some ramen. They've got some Korean food.
nice
They've
little
got
town.
all sorts of things there. It's really, really nice. So I think as far as location goes, I definitely think that Pearl has the better beach
Okay.
and the better you're able to walk to other things.
Okay.
So then we've got size.
You've always liked it bigger.
So here's the thing.
Oh, we're talking about.
No, yeah.
I didn't know what we were
So,
talking about.
This, I think, boils down to really personal preference and also what leads to some of the, I guess, like, in my opinion, statistical errors
Okay.
when you deal with, like, when people say, like, do you like Pearl or not? Because you're going to have some people that are like, oh my God, I love Pearl.
Okay.
You're going to have some people that are like, Pearl is trash, it's awful.
Yes.
And I think that can completely be explained by the sample size
Okay.
because you have a small sample size.
Okay.
I think there's 80 couples there at one time, or like
Where?
80 people
At Pearl.
total at Pearl.
80 people at Pearl. And then how many people
It's so much smaller. It's
Right.
like 200 to 400 at
Okay.
200 to 400 people at RM.
So what I'll say about Pearl is it really is more dependent on when you go that you can, if
Yes.
if there's only 80 people there, and it happens to be people that are older, happens to be people that you don't vibe with, you're like, oh, I didn't really like Pearl too much. But
Or
if
they're
you
younger,
happen,
whatever. I'm not saying older people are the people I don't vibe with. I just want to I just want to say that it's not just like.
on behalf of us older men, I appreciate that. However, if you happen to vibe with the people at Pearl, you're like, man, I love Pearl. Like, because it's a small group of people, it's a closer clique. Where Desire RM, Riviera Maya, it's a bigger group, so you can kind of find your clique.
Yes, that is exactly what I was gonna say, and like that can so be good or bad. Sometimes, like you tease me a little bit that I'm good at the runaway.
Oh, she runs away.
I am like I will just like run away from a situation when I'm like, oh, okay, all right, run away.
To explain, we meet somebody, we hit it off, we're talking with them, and then she'll just ghost them. You'll go to bed. You'll be like, you know what? That was fun talking with them. I'm going to bed. And I kind of call it the runaway because like we're making friends, and then suddenly you just decide it's time to go to bed.
I can run away. It's fine. But
The point of that is?
the point of that is that sometimes like it's easier to run away in a situation where you're at like RM where there's so many other couples. Like you're not going to see necessarily the same people. However, at Pearl, you're definitely going to see
You're
the
gonna run
same
into them
people.
again and
You're
again.
going to run into them again and again and again. So it's hard to run away, which can be bad if you don't necessarily want to hang out with those same people for your entire vacation.
Sure.
However, if you do meet awesome people
That you wanna hang out
that
with.
you want to hang out with for your
You're gonna see
entire
them again.
vacation, you're going to see them again. It's like summer camp. It's
Yeah.
just like you're just like, oh, we're at dinner again together. Like, oh, it's breakfast. We're hanging out.
It's like high school.
We're doing this. It is. It's like we're in every situation together.
If you
and that
feel
can be
more
really fun.
comfortable with a class of 80 people and hang out with that small class, then you're gonna like Pearl in those ways. If you like a class of 400 people, you're gonna like Desire in those ways.
Yes.
There's something close-knit about the smaller community, and there's something more fun and anonymous about the larger community.
And I do think, I guess, just going back to like all of the things that I've seen on the internet about Pearl versus RM, I think really goes back to what was your experience at Pearl, because it's so hit or miss.
Sure.
Because it can be like, okay, like I was in a group of people with, like 50 other people or something. Like I didn't like it or I did like it. So it's really, really hit or miss. And it's also just like smaller sample size. You just have that, like if you're pulling 5 people, what are they saying versus you're pulling 500, it's just
If you're
different.
pulling 500 people, you need to slow down.
It's true.
Polling.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So would there be benefit for a first timer to go to both, like do 3 days and 3 days?
Absolutely. Yeah, I really think that's good. And if
Decide for yourself.
If I were going to give
Nothing wrong with splitting it.
Yes. Go both ways. That's what I always say. Some tips that I would give for going to Pearl. First of all, the numbering of the rooms are very confusing.
When you are drinking.
Actually, it totally makes sense. But like you said, when you're
Tips
drinking.
for Pearl.
But, okay, so in the United States, if we go to a hotel. And say it's like room 324.
You're on the third
I would
floor.
expect to go to building 3, room 2, floor 4, whatever.
That makes
Or,
no sense.
No, like room 4. You get what I'm saying? No, like building 3, floor 2, 4, room.
Okay.
Right?
Not at all.
No, you wouldn't say that?
I would say that would be 3rd floor, room 24.
Okay, fine. Whatever.
But in this case, they've got smaller individual buildings, so you
Yes.
think buildings with the 100s, buildings with the 200s, buildings with the 300s.
Right, so that's what I was trying to explain.
Yes.
Desire does not have that at Pearl. Pearl is, you just have a running tally of number of rooms. It's like 1 through 100 and you just guess. like how it is.
So
if you're just like guessing, you might be like, this is like you go to this room
Yeah.
and the bottom floor is 15, and then the next room, the bottom floor is 27. It's very confusing, and you're like, what on earth? What is going on? You know, like, but it's like you go up,
before
you
we
go
get
down.
too confusing in this, let's just summarize. This is why she never found a room. That they will go sequentially. So, but you get to 28, and 29 might be another building, and that gets
Right.
confusing because we're used to having 300s, 400s, 500s, and this might be 301. The next building might be 302, and it just gets a little confusing. So just be careful. Find out where your room is and don't drink too much. Let's summarize it at that.
Okay. Also confusing. You need to make sure that you tell your taxi like 47 times which desire you're going to. Because even if you tell them a million times that you are going to Pearl and you give them the address, chances are
They might take you to RM.
they're going to take you to RM. We've had that how many times now?
I think it was just a couple, but
Yeah.
it's happened.
But
yeah,
still, like,
the
at
taxi
least-
drivers
at
don't
least
always know
2
the
or 3
difference between
times.
the two, so be careful of that.
Yeah, so definitely tell them which resort, even if you're giving them the address. So like tell them for sure. Also, theme nights
Yes.
are different at Pearl than
Than at
they
Design.
are at
RM.
RM. So make sure you double check on the website so you just know like which one you're going to, and like, you know, you're not dressing as a pirate when you should be a cowboy or whatever it is.
Absolutely.
Pretty cool. And I think the parties in general, I would say that at Pearl, it's a lot more subdued.
Okay. Yeah,
There's still fun parties, but I would describe the parties at Pearl as being like going to your hometown's like
smaller bar with a band.
fun small bar with a band. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Small bar with a band.
It's exactly that. It's
Growlers.
not. Yeah, exactly. It's not super cool. It's like, oh, we're all like hanging
is
out.
super
and,
cool.
No, it's cool because like we all know each other and we're doing stuff and we're having fun.
I
It's
enjoyed
that
Pearl's
experience.
parties more than RM's. That's one place that I really enjoyed Pearl's parties.
Yeah.
More classic rock with a band going and a smaller crowd. It was just fun for me.
Yeah.
I'm an older guy, so I was excited to be like, oh, no way, they're playing
I know,
something
yes.
Freddie Mercury. That's cool, you know, but it's not for everyone. If you want the techno vibe, if you want a little bit more modern music, Riviera, in my experience, might be better for you.
But it's still pretty cool. You're all like just vibing and it's fun. I want to leave this video
Yes.
with just saying potential for the future.
Yes.
These are my predictions
Yes.
because specifically Riviera Maya started off as less expensive and it was younger people.
Okay.
Pearl was more expensive and it was older people.
Which attracted older people, yeah.
Now, Riviera Maya has got all these upgrades.
New amenities, yes.
New amenities, and new
sometimes they're more expensive
rooms.
now.
Yeah, new rooms, and now it's more expensive.
So the average age is coming down at Pearl,
I would say that Pearl
in our experience.
could potentially be the new place where,
The youngsters hang out.
yeah, your 20s, your 30s, oh man, like I don't know if I want to spend all of that money on RM. Maybe your
Head over to Pearl.
29-year-old goes over to Pearl. It's different. Like it's switching it up. That is my prediction.
agree.
That's my prediction for the future is that Pearl was once known as being like, oh, that's old people.
Yes.
And I think now Pearl might be the place where younger people go.
Absolutely. So, if you've watched this far into the video, please click that subscribe button. Click like. We would just appreciate it. It helps the algorithm and helps us get more views. Also, I love the comments. So just even if it's anonymous, tell us something. If you've been there, if you've had a good time, if you've had a fun story, leave that. Even leave us suggestions for future videos. We do appreciate that. We're about to get a little bit more fun and record some members videos that tell what happened in the hot tub at night, or what we did in Tokyo, or what we did in Thailand. Do you know any of the topics for these upcoming videos?
I think definitely Shinjuku and like some ping pong shows in Thailand.
Okay, so we're gonna tell those stories, but that's in the member section. And it's like $6 a month. So if you watch this far into the video, give it a month trial. You got $6, right? All right, so does that cover our discussion of Desire Riviera Maya versus Desire Pearl? Which is best for you?
Yeah.
All right, folks, you know we love and appreciate you. Thank you for watching. And yeah, click that subscribe button, click those likes, leave us a comment. And of course, try as a member, join. Adios, amigos.